Hi everybody, hey, it's Craig Freshley here. There's a school of thought out there that a neutral facilitator should never make any kind of suggestion when facilitating a group. That all proposals, all ideas, everything should come from members of the group, and the facilitator just manages and, well, facilitates that. I don't subscribe to that school of thought. First of all, let's take a look. I think that there are three types of suggestions. One type of suggestion is purely content. Oh, you guys are talking about where to have your annual meeting? I know this place. It's really great and blah, blah, blah. That is a content suggestion. I think that content suggestions, by and large, are off limits for neutral facilitators. But there are two other kinds. Another kind is what I would call a process suggestion. So maybe we've designed an agenda, we are working through a decision-making process, and I have an idea for a process that I think might serve the group better. Process suggestions, I think, are totally fine for neutral facilitators to make. That's what the facilitator has been hired to do, manage the process. The facilitator should be always thinking about better processes and should make suggestions accordingly that'll help the group. There's a third kind that's kind of in the middle. Maybe it's a suggestion about content, but it is based not on my personal knowledge, but on what I have learned from you just now in the meeting. And I tend to think that those types of suggestions are also okay if the facilitator is being absolutely, truly neutral, and if that suggestion is made based on what he or she thinks will serve the group well. Look, I've been listening to you talk for an hour. I have an idea for a solution that I think might serve you well. I think that might be okay because the solution is based on what I've heard you say from my neutral point of view. There are no hard and fast rules about this. Mostly it depends on the group culture and your agreement with that group on how you will behave as a neutral facilitator. But I am just pointing out that there are times when I think it's perfectly appropriate and in fact extremely helpful to the group if the facilitator makes suggestions, makes proposals. Thanks for listening, everybody. I hope this helps your group make good decisions.